No problem.
Okay. So again, welcome. Welcome to this after session. I can call it an after session of the training. With me here is Dr. Joseph J.J. Burt-Miller. He's the assistant project manager for the Department of Homeland Security. He also is a researcher as well as a CISO profession. As CISO, a future CISO, right? I saw that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and also is certified in a number of certifications, which is going to tell you more about, and is done a lot in the cybersecurity field. So you're welcome. And over to you, Dr.
All right. All right. Yes. Thank you, Kevin. And good evening, everyone. I know over here in the U.S. it's morning over here. This is my second time around working with Kevin, so I definitely honored that he gave me a call to come to speak. I did want to do a little bit different this time around. Kind of want to make it more of a conversation, and I didn't want to just inundate everyone with slides. I'll probably just go over like a brief history of mine, and I really just want to hear your perspective, just kind of learn where you are in your journey, and just have a little bit more conversation as opposed to just me just dictating, just speaking to you. So yeah, I kind of just want to make it a little bit more low key, and just have a better understanding where you all are, and what are things that you're doing for your respective path. So for my journey, where I started, I'd say really the beginning where my interest was born was really through my my uncle. He at the time he was doing a lot of PC and like IT repair, and this going back to when I was still living in New York. And he lived in New Jersey. So when I was younger, when my parents when we would go to visit, it's almost like a little mini road trip. I always look forward to doing that. And so whenever we did go, visit his house, there was like PC components everywhere, monitors, PC towers, what have you. He was always working on something, printers, whatever, you name it, it was there. And of course, it made me curious. I asked questions, and I'm thankful that he had the time and patience to answer them. And so the more I learned, the more I wanted to do things more on my own, kind of figure things out. As he was breaking stuff down, I started to try to break PCs down myself, working on like laptops and working on different components, get an understanding of how everything works. And that really manifested itself into really my really my interest, my pursuit, I'd say, for more knowledge within the IT space. So kind of fast forward in a bit, joined the Air Force. So my career field when I was in the Air Force wasn't IT, it was HVAC. And if you're not unfamiliar with that, that's heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So I did that for the 4 years I was in, and then after I got out working as a government civil employee, I worked at the Veterans Affairs Hospital in East Orange, New Jersey, still doing HVAC. But during that time, actually, even when I was still in the Air Force, I started school while I was stationed in Ulsan Air Base, Korea, and I was pursuing my bachelor's in computer information systems. So that carried over, after I got out. So I did my associates while I was in, and then carried over to my bachelor's after I got out the military. So during that time when I was working at the VA, while I was still doing HVAC, I was studying for my bachelor's in computer information systems. And what really I remember this one I don't want to say incident, but something that I guess that really stuck out to me in my memory, even to this day. I remember one of my former coworkers, he came in and, he had one of those pill separators, and I asked him, I still remember his name, James Evans. I asked him and said, "Hey, James, well, what are you taking all those, what is that for?" And he said he was taking it for pain. And then, he was taking it for pain every day. And it kind of like messed with my brain a bit. And then also like just seeing like some of the other guys in the shop coming in, they was limping and, having some sort of ailment that they're working on. And, as much as I love HVAC, I think HVAC it's a great career field. It's a great trade, especially as a homeowner. You do learn a lot where you can do a lot of things on your own, save yourself a lot of money. But with that said, I just couldn't see myself doing that long term. Now, if you ask me if I had a chance to do it over again, would I still do HVAC? I would still say yes, because I think HVAC still does give me a great foundation of skills that are transferable, so not just doing HVAC. I mean, like I said, being a homeowner, just working on things around the house, electrical, plumbing, what have you. You of course you become mechanically inclined, and so you're able to kind of take on a lot of those different tasks on your own, and like I said again, to save yourself some money as opposed to contracting a lot of things out. But no, so from that point, really pushed me to get my studies done. I did take a break. It took me a little longer. It took me 6 years to get the 4-year degree. I remember I took a break for like a semester, and then a semester turned to 2, and then it kind of ballooned into 2 years. But then I remember it's like no, man, I gotta go back and finish this. So I finished a bachelor's, and then I went on to pursue my master's in cybersecurity. Then after which. And that was after I left. But I'll say one thing I do want to point out. I think that's very important, is the importance of having a great supervisor or mentor. So my first supervisor in the IT, when I first broke through, he was very. I would say he was very instrumental into my success, to really getting started within IT, because he gave me a lot of leniency. He allowed me, he gave me a lot of room to, I say a lot of room to fail, honestly. He allowed me to experiment. He allowed me to work on different things, and, and of course, within reason, still want to make sure, I wasn't going too far off of the rails either way. But he was definitely, he saw I would say the hunger in me that, I did want to learn, even though I was very green, I was new, but, I still had a very desire, a strong desire to learn. And, so he would, I remember he would give me like this big book of Microsoft DOS to learn all the different commands. He always reiterated to me that I needed to, work on my certifications, how important that is. And, and whenever big projects came around, I was always, I rose my hand and volunteered, because it's, to me, from my perspective, I saw that as experience, as a way to get better. And, I didn't feel I was in a position to really turn down anything, being that, like I said, it's my first, IT position. So, doing that, I think, having someone like that, because you do have, and now throughout my career, going back, from the military, I've had my mix of great supervisors and bad ones, and I've learned a lot from both. I think a great supervisor or mentor, actually, I think a great supervisor is one who can be your mentor. Honestly, I don't think a lot. I think maybe one of the biggest problem now is that a lot of supervisors don't have a lot of patience anymore. They don't take a lot of time to teach. I think they have this expectation for you to just know your stuff and, get going. Which, I would say understandably to, a certain extent, depending on where you are in your career, but yeah, especially, but if you're just getting started, I think that's instrumental, that you have someone that has that patience, knowing that, you know, you're new, knowing that you are going to make mistakes, and they're still going to have that, you know, give you that leniency, give you that extra rope to, you know, to know that you will mess up from time to time, but hey, you're learning, and ensure that you are learning from those mistakes as you're moving forward. So, and, you know, so with that said, you know, every stop I've made, you know, from I've worked at when I left the VA in New Jersey, I worked at the VA in Nebraska, supporting the research department, doing IT service there. From there, went on to I worked as a system administrator at Offutt Air Force Base in Omaha, Nebraska, and then from there I moved on to the DoD Cybercrime Center back on the East Coast in Maryland, and kind of takes me to my current stop right now with the Department of Homeland Security. I started out working as a biometric program analyst, and now about years and change now, been working as a assistant project manager. So, you know, so every stop I've made, you know, I've always kept up with him. He's since retired now, but I've always kept up with him, let him know where I'm at, how I'm doing. And he definitely appreciates that, because I don't know. I think it's important to kind of, you know, if you're all familiar, you know, you may hear the term, you know, giving people their flowers. I think that's important, that we do that, to recognize the people who have made a significant impact in our lives, in this case, in our careers, and to know that, you know, those efforts are not, you know, they don't go unnoticed. So, and that really helped shape for me, like when I speak with people, people that reach out to me, asking for advice, or you know, ask questions, or what have you. I definitely made a time to do that, because I understand. It wasn't too long that, you know, I was in that position where I was, you know, reaching out to people, asking questions, asking for help on, just picking people's brain. And, you know, and of course I've had, you know, some people, they're willing to speak, and some, they don't even give you the decency to even respond to you. So, and I understand how that feels. So, and knowing how a good mentor, how impactful that is in someone's career, because it definitely made a big impact in mine. I definitely want to make sure I'm doing that for people, that whether they become my mentees or not, if I'm just kind of a step on the way, you're helping someone on the way, you know, could be just having those relationships just for a season, you know, maybe I'm helping, you know, work with them on maybe a specific project, what have you, you know, where it is. And I've had folks, you know, reach out to me for assistance, especially even from the academia side, those that are finishing their doctorates. You know, I've helped out, you know, other doctoral candidates with their doctoral studies, and helping them with their surveys, and you know, providing advice and assistance with their dissertations and what have you. And also on the cybersecurity side, those who are just starting, you know, I've had people reach out to me, you know, some who making complete career changes, maybe like from one career field into cybersecurity, and they just want to know how to get started. And so I do make time to, you know, have that sit down, one-on-one time to discuss, and really just to learn where they are on their journey, and just to see how maybe I can help and provide assistance in any way possible. So I think a lot of that really has shaped from my experience in getting started, and you know, and really, you know, I had developed a passion to really help those in the field, especially like right now. I have a Discord where we're working on our different certifications. I know Kevin talked about certifications. Yes, I currently have my A+ Security Plus right now, and my PMP Project Management project management professional certification. Earned that earlier this year. Right now we're working on our CompTIA CISA Plus. And one of the greatest things that, so when we do have a set schedule for when we do our group study. And so far, I'm very proud to report we've had, I think at least two, 3 people within the group since they've been on studying, coming through, putting in the work. They're able to, they sat for the test and passed. And I think that's great. I definitely, that really made me feel good, because it really goes to show, like, it's working. It's I think having that sort of community, you come together for a common goal, and then we're just working at it. You also have that inherent, I would say, accountability with that as well, because you don't want to just keep coming to these sessions and then you're not really putting in like your part, your half, your end of the deal. I mean, if you're serious about what you're trying to pursue, then you really got to put in that work as well. And so, no, it's really good. It really makes me feel good. It is even motivating me, because I'm looking to take my test later on this month. And I don't know if you know, CompTIA just released the CompTIA CISA beta exam for 003. So I'm actually looking at that, probably take that, kind of give that myself as a almost like a practice test before I take the 002. Because the only thing with beta exams is that you don't know the results until like 6 months later. But yeah, the current exam is still 002 right now, so I'm still gonna go ahead and sit for that exam. But no, I don't want to keep talking too much longer. And like I said, I want this to be more low key, kind of more of a conversation. I really want to hear from you. Just kind of get a understanding of where you are in your journey. And let's just talk. Let's have like a bit of a discourse and just see how we can help each other. So I guess Kevin, I don't know if you want to facilitate the questions or however you want to do it. Kevin, you there? Okay, Kevin might have taken a break. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to, I guess maybe put a question in the chat, or maybe just try to one by one, maybe you could come off mute, and I mean, let's just have a discussion. Yes, someone in the chat said Kevin's gone for a rain check. Yeah, I don't know. You might taking a break. Yeah, I guess for right now, yeah, if you want to put your questions in the chat, I'll read them off. I'll prefer the more of a, kind of more conversational, but okay. I see the one came through, like a 3L Oracle. So so that chat on mentors, how do you find one that's perfect to you? I think that's a great question. So for myself, when I was, so I currently have 2 mentors that I regularly check in with. And the way I found my mentors was actually when I was still working on my dissertation, actually, I was doing, during my data collection phase, I was, recruiting and trying to get, people to join my dissertation study. And so part of that, one of the tools that I used at the time, Clubhouse was new during that time, and I leveraged that to hold to host rooms and try to get those within the cybersecurity. And my dissertation was more focused on critical infrastructure. So I was trying to get experts within that field to speak. And so with that said, so not only just leading those rooms, but also I joined some rooms as well, just listening to different folks. And so one of those rooms that I joined was is related to CISOs. I don't remember the exact title now, but so one of the people that spoke was my current mentor right now. Her name is Janai Marinkovic, and what I took from that talk was that to reach out, you do have to have, you can't really just sit back and expect someone to come and find you. You really got to put yourself out there and you want to find someone that is, of course, number one, that is in the same field that you want to pursue. I think, I don't know if that maybe goes without saying. So for her, she is a CISO. She's done a lot of work within the field. She was a CISO for DirecTV. She's done some work for the NFL as well. So I thought, man, she's amazing, and we're still working on projects right now, up to this date. So she's definitely made a great positive impact in my career, in my life. But yeah, so I reached out to her. We had that one-on-one discussion, and she agreed that she would be my mentor going forward. And and I think that initial discussion is to try and get an understanding of like where I am, in my career field, and where I want to go. What is it that I want to pursue? And I think that's important to. And honestly, I remember from that initial discussion, she almost, I would say, almost used a bit of psychology, because to really learning what worked best for my career path, we actually had to take a step back and even talk about things like, even from my childhood, like what was the dynamic in my household, growing up. And I'm the eldest of 4 siblings. And I was always in a position to lead. I was always in a position to be accountable, to answer to, and to help. So that those traits easily tie more into being in a more leadership type of role, and working with becoming a CISO would definitely give me the best fit, because I already told her, I'm not Mr. Robot. I don't do hacking or coding or stuff like that, and I've tried too, but no, I just knew it wasn't for me. So yeah, I would say I'm more on the management field, and that's where GRC really fits more my lane for me, for my I'll say natural skill set. They best align with that. So yeah, so so when you are looking for a CISO, I'm sorry, not a CISO, a mentor. When you are looking for a mentor, you want to have someone that, of course, you want to look for someone that's in the same field that you want to pursue, and taking a step further, even the position that they're in the position that you want to be in, because who else best to ask questions about than someone who's in it, and they can give you a better perspective of what it is that you need to do. Because if you think about it, it's almost like you're actually giving your mentor a chance to even to say, if they had a chance from everything that they know now, if they had a chance to do it over again, maybe there are some things that they would try to do differently, and they have that chance to do that with their mentee. Say, hey, I did this way, but from what I've learned, times have changed, things change, policies change. So now they have a chance to kind of maybe tweak some things now with their mentee, because now they can say, hey, all right, instead of doing what I did, try it this way, and then I think you should be good. And also a big benefit too with having a mentor is that they know a lot of folks. They can they have those relationships. They can pair you with people that, that could really help accelerate your career, get you in spaces that maybe you wouldn't really get to at that point, especially early on in your career. They can kind of get you in front of people that would really help enhance your career and what it is that you're trying to do. So I know it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I want to make sure I'm give you the right answer there. All right, so I'm gonna keep this in order. All right, so Fatma Muhammad says, what cyber certifications did you find useful? So right now, I'd say my IT cert, so the ones I currently have right now is A+ and Security Plus. I think every cert I've done, and I don't have a long list either, so I just want to put that out there. But each one that I've done, they were very impactful. They did help me. Yeah, the A+, of course, it helps to give you that foundation knowledge of different IT, network components, what have you. So even if you already have maybe like a certain knowledge of how PCs work or what they are, I think the A+ really helps to enhance that and solidify that for you. So the A+ helped me with that. The Security Plus is big, honestly, especially if you're working within the government space or the U.S. government space. If you look on usajobs.gov, I'd say at least, I don't know, 95% of those position descriptions, they require that you do have a Security Plus, certification. So for me, getting into within the IT space, having that Security Plus certification was big. It does make a big difference. So, and the ones I'm currently working on right now, working on the CompTIA CISA Plus, and if you don't know what that, that's short for CompTIA Cybersecurity Analyst certification. So again, it's built up on the Security Plus, but more in depth, definitely more, the difficulty ramps up a bit, especially, with any cert, as you go up the list, the difficulty goes up as well. So yeah, the cybersecurity analyst certification, the one I'm pursuing, I'm going to test for this month, definitely builds on a Security Plus. Security Plus, I would say even Network Plus as well. There's a bit of Linux, so it's really, it's a good challenge, and a lot of people, the folks that I spoke to that have taken it, they said it's it's nothing to sneeze at. It's definitely, you got to respect it. So definitely got to put in the work, study. Don't take it lightly. But yeah. So that is one that, like I said, I want to pursue. Then after that, I do want to. I'm going to make a bit of a pit stop. I want to go for my. I do want to get a cloud certification. So I am working on my AWS. Well, I'm not working it right now, but that's what's next on my list. I do want to get that AWS. I think the first one is called the Cloud Practitioner certification, mainly because currently, in my current position with DHS, for the project that we're working on, it is based off of AWS. So having that knowledge, solidifying that knowledge with the certification is beneficial for me in that regard. So after that, then I am going to pursue the CISSP, or the ISC to CISP or CISSP. And the reason for that is from doing my research, and so if you spend time on LinkedIn, you're looking at those different profiles, and so for me, I'm looking a lot of profiles of those who have the CISO position, and what I've learned is that a lot of them will have either the PMP certification and the CISP or the CISSP certification. It's usually both. Of course, like other certs as well, they may have, but usually those are like the common denominators. I usually see PMP and CIS, but I was like, okay, so that's what I'm working on. So I got half of that done. I have the PMP. I'm gonna go for the CISSP. I know that's a definitely hard, much harder certification. I knew, I've taught so many people who have taken it. Some what unfortunately who didn't pass, didn't pass multiple times, honestly. So yeah, so it's definitely a cert that you don't want to take lightly. So with that said, I want to pursue the cloud, the AWS cloud cert, because it won't be as intensive as the CISP will be. So when I make time to do the CISP, I definitely want to give myself enough time. I don't want to rush it. Give myself enough time to really study and focus and be well prepared for that certification. So yeah, and I will add that. So the reason I say like I don't have a long list of certs, because I think it's very important to be very strategic as to what certs you do get. You don't want to get certifications just to get certifications. I feel, have an understanding of what you want to do in your respective cybersecurity path. And then I think once you get that figured out, and that's where mentors come in. They can help you, give you that understanding of what it is that you're trying to do, where, have understanding what position that will best suit you for your natural talents. And then from there, pursue those certifications that will best help you in that path. You don't want to just, in my opinion, you don't want to just rack up certs, because especially if it's not directly helping you in your current path. I mean, unless you're like an instructor or anything like that, it can give you kind of a mixed review, or I say mixed perspective, I guess, maybe from potential employers, because then you're not really showing up proficiency in one area. You're more like you're kind of spread out in all different areas, but you're not really, say, an expert in one. So if that makes sense. So and it's not a knock to those who do have, a bunch of certs. I see it all the time. I think that's great. I mean, getting a certification is a big deal. It's not, it definitely takes work. That there's time that you put in. You do have to, sacrifice and everything like that. But also too, with that said, certifications cost money. So you don't want to me, from my perspective, I don't feel like you just want to just take certs just to take certs. You want to have ones that give you the most impact on your specific career field. Don't look at anyone else's. Look at what worked best for you in your path. And then once you get that figured out, then pursue those certs. And then, like I said, having that mentor, discuss with your mentor and say, hey, should I pursue this cert? And that, he or she would say, oh, yeah, you should, or no, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you for what you're trying to do in your respective career path. So yeah, you just want to pursue, you want to be, to me, you want to be very strategic. You want to be very purposeful as to, which certs you do choose according to your respective career path. Okay, Frank, which beginner level certification would you advise one to pursue? So I think I spoke a little bit about that. Depending on how beginner you are. So I would say, definitely the A+, CompTIA A+. But if you're like really new, like you don't even know what a monitor is, I would even kind of go back a little bit further and go to take the CompTIA ITIL or ITIL. Yeah, ITIL. I think that's probably just like the most basic cert that they have. If you're really brand spanking new into IT cyber, because that would really give you that'll help prepare you for the A plus. And those that don't know, like A plus is a 2-part exam. So yeah, if you really don't have any sort of knowledge at all, and you'll see that too, like especially those who may be crossing over from a different career field into IT and cyber. I recommend that for those, like I said, and everyone's start is different. So that's why I say it depends on how beginner you are, so yeah, so you may be a beginner, but you still have like a working knowledge of stuff. You may have tinkered with stuff here and there or whatever. Then that I feel then you can go ahead. I feel it's safe for you to go ahead and pursue the CompTIA Plus as your first cert. But if you're really new, really have no sort of knowledge when it comes to the IT field, then I would recommend you do the CompTIA Entail cert, then go for the A plus certification. All right, Albert, how marketable is cybersec compared to other tech fields? I mean, I don't have the exact numbers right now, but it's definitely on the rise. Cybersecurity is definitely a field that has continued to grow, and its importance is definitely being proven, especially the more articles that you read that you see with breaches coming out. I don't know if you guys are familiar, if you heard about the ransomware attack that happened in Los Angeles for the Los Angeles schools, exposing a lot of data, and and come to find out that they had I'd say very lax cybersecurity practices that contributed to that attack. So cybersecurity is definitely a field that is not going to go away, especially as hackers are they're not taking a break, they're not resting. So we definitely need to ramp provide defenses. The U.S. government, they're pouring a lot of more money now within cybersecurity. One of the leaders in that is CISA, and that's the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. They're understanding how important it is for our cybersecurity defenses, and really working, and a lot of other different agencies or vendors that they are. I don't know if you may have noticed, like recently IAC Squared did create a certification called Certified in Cybersecurity, or CC cert. So it's their way to try to get more people into cybersecurity, get more people trained, get more people proficient in cybersecurity. So it's definitely marketable. It's definitely, of course, the more the better you are. You're definitely going to see those dollar signs go up as well. So no, yeah, even my younger brother and sister, they're currently working with, studying within a cybersecurity field as well right now. So no, it's definitely, I'd say if you're on the fence about whether to do cyber, jump over to cyber and come on. Okay, Mary, how do you stay motivated to keep learning? I'd say I think it's something that's really been instilled in me even from when I was young. I think just I think really even just like watching my parents, seeing how they're very hardworking. They kind of instill those attributes, or that maybe those skills, or within me, because I've always had like a maybe like a curious mind. I've always been in a pursuit of knowledge and more, so if you look at my bookshelf right now, it's full of books. I try to do a lot of reading as well. I definitely, I think it's important to me to be, I feel to be in the know of, of current things that are important to me, to be in the know of what's going on. And also, but as far as like when it comes to like, I say within, not even just cyber, because even within the academic side as well, I've always, so I'll share this real fast. So like after I finished my master's in cybersecurity, I was really debating on whether I should do the doctorate, and I know a lot of people that would ask you, let's say, once you do the doctor, what are you trying to do, or are you going to teach, or this and that, and honestly, I didn't necessarily have a set plan to say, for the doctorate. It was more of a challenge, more of a personal challenge for myself to say whether I could do it or not. I know a lot of people may not agree or with that or whatnot, but it's not really for them to agree or not. It's just, that's just me. I've always been very, I guess just the way my brain is wired. I like to challenge myself. I'm always in the pursuit of knowledge. I'm always trying to learn. I want to be around those who can teach me stuff, that people that I can learn from as well. I don't want to be the one that's, quote unquote, smartest one in the room. I always want to be with others that I know more than me, that I can learn from. And I don't know. It's like it's almost like an engine that doesn't shut off. For me, it's I don't know. I think it, like I said, I think maybe something that's been inherent from me, from my parents, kind of watching them growing up and seeing how hardworking they are, and it just kind of makes me kind of, that really helped mold me in my different endeavors. And whether I was Air Force or academia, and now within cyber, just I've always had that drive to want to, for one, to pursue knowledge, and always, then number two, to get better at what it is I'm doing. I always feel like there's something more that I could do to really improve myself. So that's the mindset that I keep. And I always try to stay positive. I try to stay and I will say, one of the biggest motivators for me, he almost served like a mentor for me, but we never had a direct conversation, is Dr. Eric Thomas. Oh man, I follow his stuff. I mean, even up till now, but like definitely when I was working on my dissertation, his motivational speeches really kept me going, because there were times where I did feel like I was very unsure. I suffered from imposter syndrome. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing, or if I was good enough to do it. All those different questions came in my head, when things really got tough. But no, yeah, listening to him, and I recently just picked up his book. It's called You Owe You. Once I saw that release, I had to pick it up. So if you're unfamiliar, I mean, look for his stuff on YouTube. Yeah, Eric Thomas. Yeah, his motivational speeches really helped me, really spoke to me, really resonated with me, and really gave me that push when I needed it. And no, and like I said, and it's almost, and I would say I would even align like some of my thinking, my mindsets, even to the late Kobe Bryant, like the way, just watching him, and how he, for him, his field was basketball, and just the way he played the game differently. He studied, he didn't get excited by this, maybe the same things that everyone else would. Like he looked at the game from a completely different perspective. He always looked at as to how he could improve. he was definitely a great student of the game, and it's unfortunate he passed, but because I could see him, serving in more like a coaching capacity, and actually he was, his late daughter as well. I think he was coaching his daughter's basketball team at the time before he passed. Him and his daughter passed. So, but no, I think it's all about mindset. Understanding like just what it is that you want to do. Understand like I guess once you make up in your mind, like where that you want to be at a certain level, like if you want to be great, like you can't do everything like everyone else. You do have to take it to a different level, and I think that's maybe just something I've always had in my mind. Something that I always looked at myself and always want to try to improve myself, make myself better, and also with that, if I'm able to influence those around me, and they join, that's great. But I've always had that mindset that I want to be the best at what I'm doing, and so I never feel like I could get to a point where I feel like all right, I'm done. I don't know. I don't. I'm not there yet. Maybe when I get older, maybe, but right now I'm still in pursuit. Okay. Like Phyllis, where do you start if you're having a drastic career change in cybersecurity? I guess for one, you have to maybe elaborate on what drastic is, because I'd say when people do make career field changes, there are skills, even though you're doing a different career field, there are skills that you will learn, especially from what your previous career field was, that you could still transfer over into cyber and really see how they align, and it won't feel like as a big undertaking once you really sit back and understand and say, hey, for example, like you were I don't know, like a nurse and supervisor in your previous career field, and now you want to switch to cybersecurity. So with that said, some of the skills that you have, like working in the hospital, you do have leadership skills. You're able to manage a schedule, especially if you have those working under you. Working with budget, maybe doing hire and fire. So some of those skills right there kind of really transfers over to more like a GRC type role. So so that's why, depending on where you make your career field change from, it don't necessarily have to be, you don't have to feel like it, the world is, ending, or, I mean, it is going to be different, of course, because you learn something new, but you are bringing skills that can transfer into cybersecurity. So don't feel like you're just completely starting from scratch. You just have to see how what you've done, everything you've done up to that point, and see how that transfers over. And that way, and again, I kind of lean back into how important having a mentor is, because learning that they could best, see from their perspective, say, okay, so you've done X, Y, and Z. I think doing this within cyber is best for you, and this is what you need to pursue. And I think mentoring, sometimes I call it coaching. I attribute a lot of stuff to sports as well. So having a good coach, a mentor, can really kind of almost from like a bird's eye view, just learning like where you are and where you want to be, and see how the skills that you already have, skills that you learned, skills that you've already done and proven, that you can use that in transferring into cybersecurity. So yeah, again, well, I guess when I say drastic, I feel like it's, it, yeah, it'll be it is a change, of course, but it doesn't have to be. You can still build upon the skills that you already learned up to that point, and see how that best aligns with a career path within cybersecurity. Okay. Dorcas, what is your take about a person who studied finance and is interested in IT staff and is a self-taught web designer? Wow. So I think this is definitely kind of building on what I just spoke about earlier. Like, so you already have the background within finance. I guess I don't quite understand when you say interested in IT staff. So does that mean you want to be like a supervisor? I'm gonna assume that. And you said self-taught web designer. I think for a field. Okay, so IT things. Okay. Trying to find the question. Sorry. Okay. Yes. So for one who studied finance, and you've already done web design, so that I feel would, if you're already doing web design, I would really try to build on that. I would say, with it more like within programming, definitely like, so especially learn a different, I don't know how in depth you are with the web design, but you could definitely work on that. Try to build upon those skills that you already have. Pursuing, learning the different languages like Linux, Kali Linux, maybe even networking, probably a good field for you as well. And depending on how long you study finance, if you study finance, but like if you work professionally within that field as well, I think there's still a lot of great skills that you've already learned within that, from that respective career path, that you could definitely transfer over into cyber and IT. But for you to answer, I think you would definitely need to find someone who is maybe more like in a management role, and I guess also too, like what it is that you want to do. Is that something that, do you want to be more hands-on, or do you want to kind of sit back and be more like in a more executive management type space, given that you've done finance? So those are some things to really think about, to go over as to whether, what area to really focus, to hone in on, when you are making that change. But given the skills you got from finance, and then what you've done already now within IT, like I said, doing web design, yeah, you may want to look more. So I feel that best aligns with, of course, more with programming, networking. I think is good. Getting familiar with Cisco protocols as well, CCNA. But yeah, I think what I would do, I'll definitely get on LinkedIn and look for those who are, I would say I would start out with those who are more in the programming space. More of those engineers within IT. I think they could probably best give you a better indication as to how to use what you've learned so far, and how that could best, and how that best translates within either their career field, or just they can say, hey, I maybe should pursue this, and they could really give you a really great answer as to where you should take the next step, and to really enhance your skills and really enhance your career within IT. So yeah, I would start at looking for those who are already working within maybe the programming networking space, and then kind of take it from there, have some conversations and see how best your career can progress within that space. All right. Students, just from Jeffrey, student currently pursuing security and forensics. Is it possible for me to do masters in cybersecurity? Number one, yes, of course it's possible. I don't know why you would think it's not possible. And forensics is definitely a great area. I believe my sister, she wants to do that as well, cybersecurity forensics. So no, yeah, you should definitely do that, pursue that. I don't know if you started yet. One great, I'd say a couple schools that I know, well, they're US schools. I don't know if there are any sort of restrictions or limitations if you're not within the US, but and of course you could attend these schools online, but again, I don't know if there's any limitations as if you're not in the US or US resident, but Capital University, and also a WGU, Western Governors University, very, very good school, especially for those pursuing cybersecurity degrees or cybersecurity careers. WGU is a definitely great school for that. So yeah, no, you should definitely keep that going, and if you haven't started already, try and see if there's some schools that you can pursue within the US. See if there are, if any, limitations. If like I don't know if you need to be a US citizen or not to attend or not, but those are some of the things I'll probably look at, and if those are if the roadblocks are clear, not have to worry about being a citizen, then yeah, I'll look at Capital University, CAPITOL University, and WGU, Western Governors University. I think really those will give you a good kind of get you on that path within what you're trying to do. And I know there's plenty more schools, but just not coming to me right now. Just that does require some more research. But those are the ones that stick out to my mind right now. All right, Maureen, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. What do you suggest for a cybersecurity beginner to specialize in? I would say it kind of ties back to what I've discussed previously, is that you kind of want to take a inward look at what your skills are, what you already bring to the table, and then understanding what it is that you want to do within cyber and see how they best align. So it's kind of hard to answer that question. I wouldn't say that. I don't think I would really make the suggestion as to what someone should specialize in. I think it should really come down to as to what it is that you are naturally good at, and see how that aligns within cybersecurity. There's so many different paths. So yeah, I never, I guess, particularly suggest, from the beginning, not without having any sort of background or learning like what it is that person has done. I think after those discussions have been had, and again, tying back in with having a mentor, get an understanding of where this person is, then I would say probably make the suggestion as to what path that person should pursue. But right off the bat, without having any sort of knowledge about the person, I can't answer that. That would do a disservice to that person, because then I would just be making stuff up. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. It does require some time to really sit down and talk and have some those discussions and get an understanding of, you know, what you've done previously, you know, what it is that you want to pursue, you know, what do you feel like, you know, you feel like you're best, you'll be strong at, and then kind of take it from there as to what path that person should pursue. But yeah, that can't be answered without having those initial discussions with a mentor. All right, Alex says, what activities entail a typical day in the office for you? So yeah, so for me, and certainly in my project management role, a lot of heavy duties that I have really rely on risk management. So I do a lot of coordination, a lot of working with our risk owners for the project. We go over the since this is very big, we'll break up the teams as we go throughout the week. I have my respective meetings with each team that is supporting the project. We go over those risks that we have, kind of going over line by line, you know, making sure that we're not falling behind on anything, and then go over our mitigation steps, make sure that they're up to date. And then especially when we have like we have like our big risk meeting that involves the whole team, and also leadership, as we brief out to leadership to let them know where we are, where we're standing, what are some of the things that they need to be made aware of. That's where we had that time to discuss and go over those risks and really take action, you know, the appropriate action. So whether, you know, if we need to put more money in a certain thing, if there's a, you know, certain area part of the project that, you know, certain part of that maybe needs more help, more attention, there's a risk that really needs, say, hey, we need to focus on this. It all varies. So that's the purpose of it. And yeah, majority of my time, you know, is doing the risk management piece component. I do a lot of ad hoc in gathering the full project team when we have like our IPT meetings, and that's like our full integrated project team meetings. Give a chance to kind of go over. It's like a weekly meeting, going over our slides, and, you know, having everyone brief out, you know, providing an update, so where we are, get an understanding if there's any blockers that are in the way, certain things that maybe impede in progress, and what it is we're doing to correct that. So yeah, we definitely. So I'd say, you know, it's a lot of meetings, a lot of you know, coordination, and also just and the biggest thing is that all that is to keep the leadership, the brass, informed of where we are, the health of the project, and then that gives our leadership enough information as to whether to make informed decisions as to whether they need to, like I said, either, you know, request more money to be poured in, or we need to get more resources, or if we need to hire people, or if, you know, sometime in the event if we need to fire people, that happens as well. But yeah, I'd say that's typical day, or days, maybe, typical week, maybe. Yeah, it's fairly, I'd say it's fairly busy. It does keep, you know, keeps you on your toes. Like I said, a lot of coordination, different teams, where you work with different teams, things like that. So, you know, and just being definitely requires you to be very organized, you know, as you are coordinating with different people, different, you know, different risk owners, you know, maybe other directors, whatnot. You know, you definitely want to have your stuff together and making sure that you're you have everything that you're able to intelligently speak on different things as it pertains to the project. So yeah, that'll be kind of a little bit of insight for me, for what I currently do. All right, Nicholas, I've been working towards my cybersecurity journey and currently a 4th year information science student. What advice can you give me? Okay. I'd say, well, number one, definitely kudos to you, working, staying along on your respective cybersecurity journey. Great that you're working on your within information science. I think that's great. So I'd say it for you, definitely starting out, just really staying for one, you want to stay informed as to what is going on within the field. You definitely want to take up, if you haven't done any certs already, I would definitely recommend that since you're already doing, you're already studying within the field right now, I wouldn't recommend you do ITIL. I would say you go for the A+ certification. I think that would really help you, especially, I think that would really complement you, what you're doing as far as academic wise. So yeah, I would really complement that, what you're doing in school, and then get, really enhancing your IT knowledge, go for the A+ certification. I think that would definitely help. And kind of find out, you may find some things that you already learned within school, within that certification. So definitely, I would try to go for those certs early. And then from there, go for either your network or or I'd say I'd say your network plus and your security plus. I think having that, I'd say that base, I think that's a really good base for you for starting out. So the A+ will solidify what you already learned within school, and then having that, and then also pursuing the network plus and security plus certifications will help give you a really good foundation, especially when you're looking for positions within the field. And then from there, you can really, because the knowledge that you gain up to that point, then you can really make a determination, because then you'll know like what it is that you like and what is it that you don't like. And I think then from there, because even with the security plus and network plus, you're not getting too specific in one field yet. So you still can kind of, make a determination and say, hey, I want to do this, or, I want to do some red teaming, or I want to do some blue team, or I want to go GRC. I don't want to do any coding or anything like that. I like the management side of cyber. So I think having those certs will, like I said, it's not necessarily committing you to one field yet. So I think once you get those, it's going to give you a great knowledge base. And then from there, you can decide, get a mentor. Like I said, I think that's the theme for today. Once you do that, really have those discussions, and then from there, really decide as to what it is that you want to do. And then really hone in and focus in, for that specific path. Albert says, how can you best enhance yourself so as to make it in the cyber security field? Yeah, I almost spent too much time on this one because I think I've already kind of explained that already. Like I said, I think to prevent you from I'd say, wasting any time per se. Like I said, pursuing that mentor, pursuing a mentor in the field that you want to pursue. Excuse me. I'll say that the path of cybersecurity that you want to pursue, because then you're being more efficient with your time and your money. Like I said, the learning, the certs, everything like that, everything costs money. So I think that's important to have someone that can really help coach you, give you direction as to what it is that you should pursue, get understanding what it is of where you are and where you want to be, and then having a game plan and really taking it, step by step from there. So yeah, so really where the root where it starts from is having a great and efficient mentor. Frank says, in terms of a mentor, I think we're in luck to have you. Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you. All right. Okay, I answered Dorcas. Okay, Frank, are there remote opportunities for people not in the US? If so, what certification should we consider having to qualify? Honestly, I don't quite know at this time. That's something probably will require some more research to look into. I will say the best place to really ask those type of questions, if you haven't joined already, I would definitely join ISACA. Joining those cybersecurity organizations like ISACA, and they have a great forum, and I think, so, especially from what I've seen with ISACA. I mean, that's how I met Kevin, honestly. Join an organization like ISACA and then join those forums and putting those questions out there, because then you have people from all over the world within cyber, and they could definitely, you're bound to find someone who's already been there, done that, and they can help give you their perspective, their knowledge of what they've done, and then kind of help you, try and meet you, meet you halfway, and kind of give you some really great advice as to what you need to do, and how to proceed forward. So yeah, definitely, I'll say, join an organization like ISACA, and then, join those forums and putting it out there, because like I said, you're bound to find someone who's in the same or similar situation as you, and they've done that, and they can give you advice from their perspective. All right. Kef, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Kefer or Kiefer says, hello, just want to thank you for taking this opportunity talking to us. Second year student, taking a course in information technology, and I've just decided to delve into cybersecurity. Just want to know the basic skills that are necessary to be in cybersecurity. Again, I think I already covered this earlier, but yeah, if you're already, from what it sounds like, you already have like at least a working knowledge of IT already. So I would, definitely go for some of the entry level certifications. Yeah, you wouldn't need ITIL. I would just definitely go for the A+ and really gain into those basic, I'll say foundational certs, so network and security plus, but also to really build upon your skills, join insights, if you're not already, insights, try hacking, work lab. One of the things that I've done from my Discord is that if you haven't reached with him already, his name is Professor Roger White. He's done a lot of great things within the cybersecurity community, and we've been doing a lot of collaborative work as of late. We're actually creating some videos right now on how to create your own home lab, and those are definitely great skills that you should have as you're starting out. Because then it really shows an employer that, so not only you have the certifications and whatnot and the schooling, but now you could apply it, and you've proven it that you could do it, that you're working within you're able to create your own home lab and do different things, be able to tinker and stuff like that. So, I would say to really enhance your skills, to coupling from what you've done with certifications and schooling, you want to put that into practice and join sites like Try Acme. I have a list. I would say, I'm gonna put the invite out for my Discord, and definitely join. There's no limit or prerequisite or whatnot, because from there we have a lot of resources, free resources that are there that I believe that'll be beneficial to you, and part of is that we are working on creating a home lab. Like I said, Professor Rajan and I, we've been working on creating those home lab videos for those who are just getting started, those who don't know how to create a home lab. We're doing it step by step, trying to really break it down easy for everyone. And then that way you could just watch it on your own time and then recreate it. And then once you're part of my Discord, ask questions. Don't. No, this is what it's there for. We're all here to help each other, learn and to grow. So I'm gonna drop the invite link right now in the chat, and then from there, just join. The more the merrier. So definitely look forward to seeing you. And if you do join, just give a little notification to say, hey, I came over from the talk today, so I know to look out for you. So yeah, definitely look forward for you to join. Rose, wait, I think I missed one. Fatma Muhammad says, can you kind of repeat the name of those schools you just mentioned? Oh, yeah, the schools. I didn't read this a lot. It was only two. It was only Capital University and Western Governor University. Western Governor University is a great school, especially for those pursuing a career field in cybersecurity, because they infuse the certifications as part of the curriculum. So once you graduate, you're going to leave with the A+. You're going to leave with security and I believe Network Plus, and maybe some other certs as well. But yeah, WGU is a great school, especially for you getting started within cybersecurity. And so you're leaving with degrees and certs, and I think that's a great combo. And the reason I pointed out Capital University, because I believe Pre's question was regarding to like cyber forensics, and I think Capital University has a great curriculum for those pursuing that specific field within cybersecurity. And I'm sure there's definitely more. I just like I said, that would just require some research. But those are the two that just come to mind for me right now. But I'm sure there's a whole laundry list of much more that just not come to mind. Rose. Okay, Rose W says, thank you so much for sharing your journey. Which books would you recommend? Oh man, I think I need to. I think that's what it is. I think I'm gonna create a channel on my Discord just for books, like almost like a book club. I think it's too many to list. So one of the things that I have that helps me with my reading. One of the apps I have is called Bookly, and so with the amount of different books that I go back and forth with reading, it keeps track of my my progress with each book that I read. So I'm looking through it right now. Couple books I'd say that I recommend that's good for you. I'd say it's Educated. The name of the book is called Educated by Tara Westover. Sandworm by Andy Greenberg. very good book as pertains to critical infrastructure cyber attacks, especially when the current Russia war against Ukraine. But this book was detailing back to the critical infrastructure attack that Russia imposed on Ukraine, knocking out their power, knocking out their power grid in December. And actually, I used part of this for my dissertation, as I spoke about, because my dissertation focused on critical infrastructure. So, Sandworm is definitely a good book. One book, and this isn't cyber related, but a good book I think is good. It's called it's by Michael Hyatt. It's called The Vision Driven Leader. Very good book. That's more like leadership. Another leadership book by the late Colin Powell. It's called It Worked for Me in Life and Leadership. Another, I'd say, I like more like cerebral thinking books. So one book that or like intellectual books. One of the books that I do like is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Very good book. I definitely recommend that. And I'll just leave you lastly with this. I mean, I could keep going, but I just I leave with a cyber book, and it's called "This Is How They Tell Me the World Ends" by Nicole Roth. Very good cyber book. It's you could definitely cozy up and get your coffee or your tea or whatnot and read this for good amount of time. Very good cybersecurity related book. But yeah, I mean, there's so much more I can. I think I'll make that an action for myself. I'll create a channel with it. So when you join the Discord, I'll create that channel. I'll create like a book club channel, and then from there I'll just drop in the books that I'm currently reading, and then we can have discussions about as it pertains to book reading. So that is one of the patches that I have as well. So yeah. Nicholas says okay, I guess we're going over time. Okay, so I'll try to I'll just answer these last few questions and wrap this up. Kenya says, hi doctor, thank you for your time. Currently in my final semester a bachelor's of information security and forensic studies. That's great. I have a whole year till I graduate. Any connection to internship trainings? Not good in programming. Currently taking the following units this semester: ethical hacking, pen test, photography, wireless and mobile, and forensic. Where do I start and what should I focus on? Continue. Wow, you got a lot going on. Just for the sake of time, I would say reach out to me on LinkedIn and maybe let's set up a time on we could set up a one-on-one discussion, because I think I really want to spend more time. Really, I don't want to rush it. I kind of want to have a little bit more one-on-one time, really discuss what you're doing, because you are doing a lot, and I don't want to give you a rush answer, because like I said, I know we're kind of pressed with time. But no, definitely, find me on LinkedIn. Let's link up. Let's get something on the calendar, and then we'll take it from there. But definitely good work for what you're doing up to this point. That's great. Kenneth, which opportunities do you think we should tap into the growing IT cybersecurity space in Africa, especially in Kenya? I'll kind of give you the same answer I gave someone earlier, because as far as like outside the U.S. opportunities, I'm not too very keen when it comes to that, but definitely joining an organization like ISACA and really becoming an active member there. You could definitely posing those type of questions within that space. I feel would give you the best the answers that you're looking for as it pertains specifically to you within Africa. So I would say consider joining a cyber organization like ISACA, and being active in those forums and get those questions answered. All right. Oracle says thank you. All right, Fatma, thank you. All right, Rose, thanks. Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely get that book channel created. That's a after action item for me after we end the session. Careful, just join. Okay, cool. Yeah. Those who are joining my Discord, from here, just like I said, just drop a note. Make a post, especially I think within the introduction channel. Just say, hey, I came over from the workshop today, and I'm just joining, so I can definitely give you more of a specialized greeting, so I know that you came out from today's talk. So introduce yourselves within the group. I hear the chimes right now, people joining, but just let me know that you came over from today's talk. I definitely look out for you there. All right, Dominique, loving the session. I started while I really didn't know what I wanted. I started different certifications and abandoned them midway because it didn't feel right. It was awful in a way. I went ahead and got a mentor and redefined what I want to pursue. It's been a nice adventure. See, I think we need to pin Dominique's response right here. That's perfect. I think that's exactly what I've been talking about. And honestly, that's what I felt too. Even for everything that I've done up to that point, up to this point, before I had my mentor, I felt like I was kind of flailing. I was doing a lot of different stuff, but I didn't feel like there was like a specific, I wasn't really honing in. I wasn't really focusing. I mean, and I said again, like, there's so much stuff that I want to do, certain things that I want to learn and pursue, but I wasn't having that focus, to really hone in and to say, hey, all right, this is what I should do, or this is the path I should pursue. So yeah, definitely having a mentor will help you in that regard, kind of calm the waters down, and then say, hey, all right, this is what you need to do. Kind of having those discussions, learning what skills you already bring to the table, because everyone has skills. Everyone has some sort of skills, inherent skills, especially if you're coming from a different career field too. Definitely, you are bringing something. Don't feel like you're just completely starting from scratch. No, you are bringing things to the table. You just have to bring it out. You just have to recognize that you have these skills and see how they best align within cybersecurity. So no, that's great. I really love that post, Dominique. Samuel, learned a lot. Thank you. Kenya, thank you. Okay, I'll look out for your message after I drop off here. Karen, thank you so much. Session's been I'll say educational, but no, thank you. Charity, thank you. Quite challenged. Says quite challenging to grow in better height. Not sure what that means, but okay. Muli says it's been a great educative session. Siaji, and again, if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry, because I'm very big on names as well. So I always find it important to learn people's names and pronouncing those names correctly. So I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Siaji says thank you. Fatma, do you do other talks? Do you do talks on other platforms? We can attend them. Yes, I think so. If you're joining the Discord, if you look under the channel of, I created a channel for pretty much everything that I've done up to this point, like any talks that I've participated in, podcasts that I've been a guest of, interviews, interviews that I've taken part in. I put it all. I created a channel just for that. So it's called Dr. Burt-Miller's Office. So that's just really just everything that I've done. I kind of just dumped everything that I've done, like any talks, anything like that. So you can go and take a look and listen or read some of them were just text interviews that I've done. But no, you can take a look in there and see everything I've done and everything that I'm gonna do going forward. I'm gonna drop within that chat, and any events that I have coming up, I'll definitely announce within my Discord. So if you want to participate and watch, you could definitely have the opportunity to do so. So yeah, so I think the biggest thing, yeah, join the Discord, and you can find those events, those past events, and then any events that are coming up. I'll be sure to announce, and then you have the opportunity to join. I think the latest one I just did, honestly, that I really enjoyed was with Dr. Richard A. Cross, and he has a podcast called The Blood Impact. That's not cybersecurity related, but it's more to do with mental health, and honestly, I'm a big proponent in mental health as well. I think it's very important, especially when it comes to Black men, specifically, that we need to take our mental health much more seriously, because I know so much is required of us, and we want to put on this persona that we have to be quote unquote Superman and have to be strong, but we hurt too, and we need to. But I think societal pressures have made it to where, like, if you do show exhibit any sort of emotion, or it's perceived as weakness, and that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. So I think we're taking steps to really unlearn what we've learned growing up. We're trying to take steps to unlearn those things, and to know it's okay. It's okay to seek a therapist. Talk to someone, or even one, maybe your best friends that you could confide in, to have someone that you can really trust, to talk to about certain things that you have going on. I think it's good, because you don't want to keep those things bottled up, because then eventually it could actually really do damage to you. It also could affect your outward relationships, your whether at work, at home, domestic, what have you. So it's very important that we do take care of ourselves in that regard. But also, but even though I'm focusing on men, women as well, all of us, honestly, we need to make sure we are taking the time to really taking care of our brains, taking care of our mental, and so that way, because doing that, it'll make ourselves better for everyone else that we encounter. So yeah, so that is one. Yeah, that's probably one of the latest ones that I've done. Podcast that I've done. So yeah, definitely take a look at that. Follow him. You can follow Dr. Cross on LinkedIn as well. He's doing a lot of great work within the educational space, and he has some great guests as well that you can find on his YouTube and LinkedIn. So definitely if you have time, definitely take a listen. All right, and I think that's it. That was the last one. All right, cool. All right. Well, I enjoyed this time, this session. I'm very honored. Blessed. I'll say thank you to Kevin for inviting me to come and speak to you all today. Join the Discord through the link. Introduce yourselves, make yourselves known. And I knew that I wanted to do things differently this time around. As I didn't want to do the whole slide format this time around. I kind of just want to. I really wanted to hear people, but it's okay. I'll take the chat. but no, this was great. It was great learning from you all. Everyone's different perspectives, different. Everyone's on their different paths. So everyone's at different levels. So that's definitely great to know, to learn. So and I look forward to doing more of this later on. Kevin, if you invite me, that'd be great. Just Kevin, just hit me up whenever. I'll definitely look forward to doing something like this again. So Yep. Thank you all. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, join the Discord. Just give a shout on there so I know you came from today's session. And yeah, and I look forward to connecting with you. And one person that I did want to, yeah, Kenya, yeah, definitely. Actually, let me drop another link before we close. This is my Calendly account. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so Kenya, yeah, like I said, I did want to follow up with you. So yeah, please, yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, but also check my Calendly as well, and find an open slot, and then we can get on the calendar and have that one-on-one discussion time. So but yeah, so that was it. That was the main thing I wanted to get out. But well, no, just want to thank you all. I appreciate the discussion today. I appreciate the feedback. I definitely like the more kind of back and forth that we had. So that was great. Thank you all, and definitely good luck in your respective careers. And hopefully, I'll see you on the Discord, and we can continue to grow together. So I say have a great day, but I think it's nighttime there. So have a good night, and we'll speak again. Thank you.